D&Ders, RPGers, Game Masters, and such. I'm going to talk a little bit about White Lies, and I'm going to talk about how to make it a little more, how would you say, Call of Cthulhuian, if you want to put it for lack of better words. I decided to add sanity points to the game. And the reason why I do is I'm playing with kids, and we're doing these intense investigations of the supernatural, and I thought it'd be fun to incorporate it, okay? So in any OSR game, it's like, you try to make the game yours, all right? So I'm going to show you the rules. They're really, really simple. And I just did them the other day, and they work perfectly well, okay? So this is how we do sanity points. These are my automatic dice rollers up at the top if I had to do this in front of kids, and we do it like that. It's kind of fun. But sanity and White Lies, okay? So all players would start with 30 sanity points, and then you add all your stat bonuses or minuses, and you add them to this number, okay? Basically, everybody ended up about 30. Maybe 33 was the highest, okay, with all the bonuses, right? As things happen, you can lose from 1d6 to 3d6 sanity points based on what the action is you're going to do. So I gave a list of some kind of indiscriminate ones in case they were interested. If you make 2 failed checks in a row, you get stressed out and you can like crack a little bit. Usually when they roll that one, I said, okay, it's 1d6 and divide by 2 if you do 2 failed checks in a row. And I only did it like once or twice. I really didn't do it much. The fun ones are when you read something horrific or you expose yourself to dark magic or witchcraft is what they're going to end up doing in the game. Okay, so then they start taking turns on who gets to look at the picture, and when we're playing the game, only they get to see the picture, and everybody tries to get them to describe what they saw, which is totally fun because it's really hard to describe these things somewhat, right? If you get exposed to certain alien tech, you witness a falling comrade. Let's say in last game, Roz's character fell. Everybody else had to watch it. I would have been a cool time to do like let's say a sanity check. You just saw someone get gunned down. How's everybody going to react to that? That'd be kind of interesting. They all do a saving throw. See, I like to do a saving throw and then do it. So at least they get a chance not to have an effect on them, right? If you get a lack of sleep, food, or water, or being captured by an enemy or tortured. And the last one's admin discretion. And the game we're playing, the administrator is me. It's the dungeon master, right? So what happens if you lose points? Well, if everyone starts at about 30, if you go down to 20 points, it's a -1 to all your skill checks and attack rolls for the rest of the game. Now, a lot of them get a +1 or +2, some even a +3 on their skill checks. So it might not have that much of a bearing, but they start going backwards. It makes the game more intense, and it makes it way more fun, right? Once they get down to about half loss or 15, it's -2 to all skill checks and attack rolls. At 10, it's -3. And I had one character played by my son named Dalton, Hank Dalton. He was down to like 10 and he was like all freaked out. And he did a great job acting all stressed and not able to make decisions. He did fantastic role playing on his part. So it made characters decide, what should we do? We're losing our leader. He was kind of the leader of the party, which makes it fun. If you get all the way down to 0, congratulations, you're insane. You kind of make a new character. I'm going to show you kind of how we did it. I kind of decided I really want to do Call of Cthulhu, except I think that I don't want to change the game system. I think it really confuses, especially if you're every other week warrior is kind of what we're doing. And maybe one day we would play a game like that. But for right now, I just want to stick it in our White Lies campaign, which is white box simple, except it's a spy versing thing, right? So to kind of look at what we did something with the Dame's Quarters when we went to, okay? And get to see what this looks like. This is our campaign. We ran into a bunch of different things, okay? And at one point in time, we were in a church. Okay. Down here is the church area is number 10, so let's roll down to number 10. Okay? And I'm using silhouettes for this thing, and this guy named Parsons Roy's in there having a nice little talk, and everyone's like cheering and stuff like that and getting into it. And so a bunch of my characters went in, and Serena Kensworth started to investigate the church. I gave her a map. She started going through and doing different checks, basically stealth checks, and she's doing investigation checks to see if she could find anything. She ended up down here in the utility closet, and she saw something painted on the wall when she did this with her flashlight. And so when she took a look, she saw something really horrific. So she saw this. And of course, she had to do a check. This had an effect on her. She couldn't really make it out. Can't tell what it is. This is just some image I found online. But it kind of bugged her out a little bit. All right. So she lost some, how would you say, sanity points. And upon opening the chest, there was something in the safe. She didn't know whether she should read it or not. And I said, do you want to read it or not read it? She said, well, I'm going to read it. I'm going to take a picture of it. So she read it, took a picture. It said this. And of course, that bugged them out, and she lost more points. She was down to like around 19 points or something like that, based on these two interactions. So she came back and she was kind of freaked out about it. It was too interesting. And one of them got up here in the ranger station. There was something in a safe. They knew what it was, and I think Agent Smith took a look at it, and oops, sorry, wrong one. She saw something that looked like this, and it was a hand-drawn thing, and had to do like a check. And what's weird about these drawings, of course, they don't know anything about Cthulhu mythos, and they don't know what this is, and the writing's really hard to read for little kids, that they can't describe it to each other, which makes it so fun, because they're trying, well, it's like this thing, and I can't tell, it's like something like spaghetti on his face or something. Sort of fun doing it. And when they finally ran into the creature of destruction, it was a Chupacabra, I guess you might say, down here. He had his effect down there, and it was sort of fun. In the end, I mean, they all survived, but instead of just like a gunplay kind of thing, you know, like sometimes D&D can say, oh, I killed this, I killed that. Well, I'm trying to get them more out of that and more into the investigative process of doing a game. And it was quite fun. It was a very good motivator to take turns. So like, oh my God, you have way more sanity than me. You need to look at this and tell us what to do and find out what. And it was kind of interesting. They were really role-playing it pretty well, because as they got stressed, especially my son, when he got down to about 10, he would not make a decision, barely talk to anybody. They're trying to figure out what to do, because he's been kind of leading the group. We made it a whole lot of fun. So if you want to think of this, so it's a way you can actually stick like Cthulhu mythos. It doesn't really have to be just anything supernatural in the game. Like I said, we're doing this as FBI agents walking around trying to figure out this supernatural thing. So that's how we're running the game. It's a lot of fun. You might give it a try. If you see any of my other videos, you might look there's links in the description. One about doing 2d6 checks. This is a little different than what they have in the book. Kids roll 2 dice, and you try to give above a 9 successful, because they got these bonuses wrapped into it. This makes it quite a fun way of doing it, because for some reason it gives leveling success, and then there's failure, but then you can have a success with the twist in the middle. So that makes it kind of fun. I mean, we're just trying to figure different ways we can do things, especially when you're doing stuff with kids. So once again, thank you for listening. I hope you found this interesting. You might even want to give it a try. Like I said, instead of trying to learn a whole new system, especially if you're playing with younger players, this may be a fun way to take something you're doing an OSR game and say, hey, we're going to do this. It would work in normal white box. I don't see a problem with that. Or even White Star, if you're playing a campaign and you want to run sanity checks. It just seems to really, really work with this game. With that, I hope you have a great evening. Like I said, go down in the description, and you can click on ways and links you can use them in your game. All right, have a great night.